Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. It's Casing Tuesday day. It's the day after Easter Monday, and I don't know, I'm not feeling very high energy this morning. What is that? Maybe because it's a cloudy sky this morning, and so I hope you guys will pep me up a little bit so that I can get over. I think it feels like Monday today instead of Tuesday, so maybe that's what happens after kind of. I don't know if it was really a long weekend because I was working yesterday, but I kind of felt like I was on holiday mode yesterday instead of everything. I don't know how you feel about all of that. Did you take yesterday off? Is today feeling like Monday for you too? Well, anyway, today we are going to take a card of the catalog and we are going to give it a makeover. So let's take a look at the card that we are making over today. Move my head into the picture again. So this is a very simple card. If you do not have an octagon shape, don't worry. I don't have one either. You could use hexagons if you wish. You could, well, I use the elongated hexagons out of the Nested Essential dies. So, get creative and then just throw on a long skinny greeting and there you have it. Or if the long skinny greeting doesn't work, use a different kind of greeting and a different kind of label. But this is a very easy, very doable layout. And I eliminated one of the layers. I just noticed that now. I eliminated that extra layer, like, you can kind of see that there's the card base and then there's another layer just right on top of that. That didn't work out so well for my card because my dies were very long, so I decided not to put that on there. That's perfectly okay. Use this as a starting point and then keep creating with it. So here is the sketch, and this is kind of what it looks like. Again, I don't have an octagon die, so don't worry if you don't have an octagon. Use a hexagon, use a circle, use some sort of shape, use a square or a rectangle if you don't have dies. So just use this as a starting point to build your card, and I kind of like the way that this is a simple sort of layout. All right, let me pop over here. So my card, this is my card. I used an elongated hexagon. So yeah, my card looks a little different, but I went from an octagon to a hexagon and I turned it. And because that seemed to work better with my shape. And I mentioned last week my forsythia is still in bloom. We were out in the yard yesterday, my husband and I, for I don't know, an hour, and I was pruning my hydrangeas and he was raking leftover leaves from last fall. But the forsythia kept us company. That's really beautiful right now, and it looks just like this. This is a very good representation of forsythia, kind of all scattered and all over the place. So we're going to make a forsythia card. We're going to make one a little bit different because I wanted to use a different paper. So we will be making this card. And I do not have a host code because host codes are gone now, and I'm going to be talking about them maybe for another couple of weeks before we really put them to bed and never talk about them again. But I know a lot of you are always looking for a host code to add to an order because that's what we did for many years. If you didn't order from me, maybe you ordered from another demonstrator, so you're very used to having host codes. Host codes are away now. They were attached with a workshop type order, which we do not have anymore, and now all we have is a customer order type, and so that works really well because now we have a different rewards program. Orders of $20 or more are now going to be rewarded. So, and you get 10% back on your next order. So this is a really good thing, but it eliminates the advantage of putting things under a host code. So that is going to be just a little bit different. So I am going to just give me 1 second. let me put up my banner right here. So I am still, for the rest of this month, I wanted to make the month all fair. I am going to be giving a gift for every $50 spent this month. And guess what? We have free shipping that is starting tomorrow on orders of $75 or more. So maybe you would like to stock up on some cardstock before the prices go up in May, or maybe there's something that you still want to purchase. Now is a great time to do it because we'll have free shipping on orders of $75 or more. And I'm just gonna pop up, where's my little gifty? Here it is. So my gift this month is a pack of 6x6 designer series paper plus a roll of ribbon. It is such a good deal this month. I kind of wanted to make it go host code gifts go out with a bang. So that's what I'm doing for this month. Not to say that I won't have gifts in the future. I just won't be having a monthly gift anymore. The host code rewards were what I used to purchase the gifts each month. So going forward, things will look a little bit different. But for the month of April, I wanted to reward all of you in the same way with designer series paper and ribbon. The designer series paper is 6x6. It's retired. It may be cut to 6x6 if it was in 12x12 format. It's packaged in a cellophane bag. And I always include the name of the original paper so that you know what it is. But it will be retired, and same with the ribbon as well. It will also be a retired roll of ribbon. So those will be sent out in May, and that is for every $50 you spent. So I take your total at the end of the month, and I figure out how many you earn, and that's how many I ship to you. So it's a good little reward for this month. So no more host code for this, but I'm still collecting dollar points, so to speak, in increments of $50 so that I can reward you. And free shipping, yay, right? I think I've been stocking up on cardstock this month just to get a little bit ahead of the price curve. And I noticed yesterday there were a couple colors that I kind of miscalculated. I need to get a couple packs more. So I probably will also partake of the free shipping as well. All right, we have a few people here this morning. Thank you for joining me. I already feel my energy coming back, which is so good. I feel like in the morning, normally I have a lot of energy in the morning, and today I'm just like, what's going on? Well, we all have our ups and down days, right? Okay, I'm gonna zoom in so you do not see all of my messy desk. Let's go to my other camera and we will start making this card. All right, we'll be making this card, except different. So let's talk about the products first that I used. This is the Delightful Wishes bundle, and I kind of felt like I wanted to use Delightful Wishes again because I had done that elegant hexagon box. Where are my little boxes? Where are they? Oh, let me grab the yellow one. Look how pretty this one turned out, and like look how nicely those two would go together, right? This is the box. Look how pretty I lined the inside of the box, and you know, it's just really nice. Okay, so that was the box, and I actually noticed I used different pearls on here, or gems, but either one will do. You know, they're very neutral. These ones I think were I forget the names of these. These ones were the iridescent pearl basic jewels, and then these ones I'm using here are the antique pearls. So they're both a type of pearl. So I would just probably, if I was giving these as a gift, I might just stick to the one set, but you know, they both look good. Probably if you're not a card maker, you probably wouldn't notice unless you're super detail oriented. So this is the Delightful Wishes bundle, and I think I'm missing something. Oh, the label. Aha, let me grab the label. I have normally when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm designing, I'll also have like a die cutting station over on that side of the room, because I don't always bring my die cutting machine and use it right here on the work surface, because when I'm working I don't want to have to clear off my space, so I have a dedicated space for that. So sometimes my dies end up over there on the station. So this is the bundle that I use, and this bundle is carrying over into the annual catalog, but it will be unbundled afterwards. So buy it now and save 10% when you buy them together. And then I'm also using this die set, which has been around for a while, but not everyone has this yet, the Nested Essentials dies, and last week it was on low inventory. I didn't check to see if it's still on low inventory or not, but it is a good nesting label set, and we always love to use those because we can do nice things. Like this has a very, very subtle frame, which I love it. You know, when you just see it like that, it doesn't look like it has as many layers, but then when you see it in person, you really kind of see that, oh, there is designer series paper back there. Oh, there is a frame. So there, all those little subtle details will come and pop out a little bit more in person. And then I am using this paper, which I have almost finished this whole pack. This was the Floral Delight Designer Series paper, and this is a very popular paper. I think it's the first yellow paper that I truly, truly love, which is kind of saying something, because, or maybe it's the first yellow paper that we've really had, but it is just a very pretty paper. And it is not in the annual catalog, but it is carrying over. It is not on the last chance list, so we will have it for a little while longer. Okay, I think we can make this whole card. We have to do some die cutting, but I think we can make this whole card with the mini embossing machine, which is happy making, because that way I don't have to drag the bigger machine out. So we're going to start off with, let's start off with a card base. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to do a version of this same card. And I have a piece of cardstock. It started out as 11 by 4 1/4, and then I scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. And then I always like to take my bone folder. We do sell these, by the way. I just always forget to put them on my supply list. We fold that in half and we smooth it with the bone folder. And then I cut a piece of the beautiful paper to 4 inches by 5 1/4, and it is beautiful on this side. It is gorgeous. I wish I wanted to use this side, but what is going to happen if I use this beautiful side? I'm going to put these on here. Your eye will be going crazy and won't know where to look. So we need a more neutral background so that the flowers that we stamp are more prominent than the background paper. Another thing you could do, if you wanted to, is you could use this paper here and die cut it and use that in here instead. That's a nice easy button if you didn't want to stamp. But this is a two-step stamp, and I really love two-step stamping. It's one of the things that I first fell in love with. So we're going to use the neutral side. I know it's hard to put glue on this pretty flower paper, but that's why when you buy this paper, you buy 2 packs of it instead of just one, so that you can have some for neutrals and some for the pretty flowers. So I'm just going to glue this on here. I'm going to center it. Last night when I was designing this card, I somehow put this on here, this layer on straight, and then it went crooked. So I had to pry this up with my heat tool. I know I've talked about this before. I heated it up, and then I used the spatula end, and I went all the way around, and I lifted all the glue off and managed to straighten out that layer, because it just looked awful. I couldn't believe, because I could have sworn I put it on straight, and then I looked away for a moment and it was crooked, and it was like, maybe because this was so similar in color, it didn't really catch my eye that it was crooked, but it was, and it did not look good. Okay, so now we have our base. And now I guess we can decide, I'm trying to decide, maybe we'll cut two and decide what we do. I'm going to cut, originally I was going to do a green frame, but then I thought maybe let's do a yellow frame. So we'll cut one of each. And we also need a white one. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this big frame for all three of these, or big die for all of these. Let me grab my mini and the plates. And I always will talk about this every time I do a video, so excuse me if I'm repetitive for some of you. Okay, so the instructions tell you to use the number 1 plate for your dies, but some machines are tighter than others, and mine is tight. So the nice thing about this plate set is the number 3 plate is a little tiny bit thinner. It doesn't look thinner, but it is. And so I'm going to use the number 3 plate instead. If your machine is tight, it will sometimes be very hard to roll things through unless you do some sort of Jenga move with your plates and layer them in a certain way, like staggered and stuff. You know, when you use the number 3 plate on a tight machine, it should work really nicely. So that's what got me to love my machine. So use the light gray plate. And then we'll start off for the first one. We just need a layer that is basic white. And if you can turn it just a teeny tiny bit going through, that will be awesome, because then your machine won't hit this line straight on. If it hits it just a teeny tiny bit off, it just makes it easier for the die cutting process. Okay, so layer number 1, this is what we're going to stamp on. That's going into the garbage. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 frames, and then you can tell me which one you like the best. Now, when I did this last night on my big machine, that's what's over on my die cutting station, I did both of these at the same time. So you need the largest and the second largest, but you have to make sure that everything is straight and doesn't move. Okay, I think that's good. Once it gets through the rollers, it may have shifted a bit. Once it gets through the rollers, it kind of clamps it down. So let's see. Yeah, that's a fairly decent job. Okay, so we'll keep that one. And we're going to do one in Old Olive just so we can compare and see. I think I know how it's going to turn out. And then, you know, you have an extra layer for another project. Sometimes when it goes to the machine, it curves a bit, so you can bend them back a little bit so that they're straight again. Don't be afraid to do that. Just, I mean, be gentle. I wouldn't ask someone that has a lot of strength to do that. Okay, let's stick that on there. And we're going to go through here. Well, that went a lot better than I thought it would. I thought I would have to actually tape these down into place, but somehow this worked out not too badly. All right, so let's see. Yeah, pretty decent. Okay, so now we have all the die. Oh, not, I lied. We're going to have to come back and die cut some more. So I'm just going to pop this out of the way for a moment. We'll do our happy birthday afterwards. Okay, let's bring in this piece. I would like to protect my work surface with a little piece of scrap paper here. And then we are going to stamp. So remember, with my particular design, your edges or my edges are going to be lost with the frame, right? Once I stick my frame, whichever color I choose, I'm going to lose about 1/4 inch off the edges. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I position the flowers, that I am going to lose a little bit. We're going to start off, let's put these over here. We're going to start off with the biggest, the bold florals, not the detail ones, the ones that are solid. And we're just going to ink this up. I do want that little V blossom up at the top. That one really should be on top. So I'm going to position this so it looks like that. And then this one, you can kind of do the next one. You just want to, I'm going to kind of go across broad face, broad like this. And then, I don't know, I'm going to lose a little bit right here. I could stop. With this one that I did originally, I did end up putting a few little blossoms right here. And I had this one came down a little bit more. So like if we put our frame on here, this is a good way to tell. You can kind of see where do you think we might want to put some more blossoms. We don't have to, but let's, for argument's sake, let's put a few little blossoms there just so I can show you how you line that up. So since I'm bringing this in again, I'm going to take this and bring my V in like this, I think. All right, now that little V blossom, that is going to be kind of your clue to help you line things up for everything else. So we're done with this one. And we're going to come in, and if you want a lot of contrast, I'm using peach pie, which just makes it look, it actually makes it look kind of like a forsythia. But if you want a bit more contrast, you could use a different orange that is a little darker, like pumpkin pie will also work. But mine is very subtle. My forsythia is pretty much just yellow. There isn't much contrast in it. So I'm kind of going for a very subtle look, but I do want it a little bit darker. So let's go in here, and so these two little tick marks up here, that's going to go towards the V blossom, as I have dubbed the V blossom. So it's actually much easier to do this if you're like coming from the top and looking straight down. I'm sorry, I'm going partly off camera here. I just want to kind of hover and turn. You're going to look at each blossom until you like how it looks. Okay, and if you're new to two-step, I would definitely practice on paper that isn't good paper so that you don't waste good cardstock. Maybe start off with computer paper, like printing paper. Okay, and then we're going to come in one more time with this one. Just going to turn it. All right, so there we go. We've got all the blossoms, and now we're going to add the greenery. This is so fun because I did not learn how to draw. So this is just so easy. So we're going to use this stamp right here. And the top is going to connect with that V blossom. And then you just kind of work your way down, and so that's so easy, right? Now it looks like an actual stem, and then we're going to come this way. Just have to get that first one in place, and then you're just going to rotate until things make sense. Look at that. It looks like my forsythia. My forsythia needs a good pruning. It is wild and scraggly. I don't think our yard was pruned the year that we moved in here. And then, or at least it's just, we had like so many mature plantings, and so it didn't look like it. And then I did not prune last year because I was too busy, and well, at least most things. And so now this year is really time to prune. So for this one, there are 2 leaves right up at the top, right there. A big one and a small one, and that one is close to the V blossom, so that goes just underneath the V blossom. So that's how I kind of orient it, and we're just kind of tucking them in on different sides of the blooms. It's just not just pretty, it's just so much fun to add all of these. And there you go, you have a bunch of beautiful blossoms. And you know, the peach pie does really fade quite a bit, so if you like that look of a little bit more orange, then I would go pumpkin pie. Okay, let's bring this card back in, and we're going to stick this on here, and I centered this, so we're going to have a choice. I'm going to give you the choice now because I want to still stamp the birthday greeting. So if we want to go really subtle, we do just very nice daffodil light, and then it will look a little bit more like this card, or we do contrast. Let's see, it's this side. We do contrast. And then we frame it up and we make it look like, okay, this is definitely framed, whereas this one's definitely solid. So you can tell me this is daffodil and this is olive, or you can say yellow or green. Let me know what you like. Do you like the daffodil, which was this one? Very subtle, still very yellow, and I'm still going to put this greeting on here, and I'm going to do this greeting in the same way, so it'll be old olive ink. So that's the daffodil, and then we have the old olive frame. So you let me know what one you like. In the meantime, I'm going to just leave these aside here. Daffodil or old olive, I'm going to stamp my greeting. So let's grab this. And if you were watching some of my other videos, you know that I hacked up my happy birthday and I took off the original greeting was you a happy birthday, because it goes with wishing you a happy birthday. Well, I didn't have room to stick wishing on here, so I can't stamp you a happy birthday. That just doesn't make sense. So I cut off you and and just to create the happy birthday that I'm going to do. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Well, I can't show you how I hacked the stamp part. I just used scissors. It cuts very easily. But I'm going to show you how I created a shorter label. So I'm just inking this up. Happy birthday. Okay, and old olive. I think I could have stamped in yellow as well, but olive is a little darker and it's going to show up a lot better. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to grab this label. Comes with the Delightful Wishes bundle, so perfect. Yay, us. And now, while you're still debating the merits of yellow versus green frame, I'm going to bring back in my mini boss. One of my stamping demo friends calls it the mini boss, which I kind of think is a cool name for it. Okay, so I think I'm trying to decide which one of these is flatter. Just stick this on here. So I think we're going to need to tape this. So we're going to use some labeling and cover up tape. This is like the top of a post-it note. It has a little bit of stickiness, but you can take it off afterwards. So I'm going to line up my happy birthday, keep it straight. I want to make sure that it's since this, I snapped this close to this end, we're gonna cut this end first. And I'm just gonna put this across like this. Put the second plate on. As it pushed down, I was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay, I'm just being picky now. Okay, we're gonna run this through. So we're gonna peel this off. Put the label back on to the thing. And now we're gonna shorten this a little bit because it's too long. And, oh, where did I put my die? Here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, and I'm going to lay this on top. I think that looks good. And if you just lay it back into the frame, stay. Gosh, I think I'm gonna put it down here. Run this through. So the idea is I want to have a shorter version of this label so that it has those little brackets on both ends. Okay, so just very easy to do when you fit that back into, put that up there, put this in here, put this over here so we don't lose things. Okay, so this is going out of the way. All right, bringing this back in. So before we adhere everything down, I need to have a look. Let's see. Oh my gosh, olive. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, we've got, okay, now I'm gonna have to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 olive, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow. Okay, well, I guess olive wins. I was gonna do yellow for you yellow people. I was gonna do, oh, Mary, no, wait, Olive. Cheryl has put the nail in the coffin. She has made it 7 to 5, so I have to do Olive now. So yeah, I was gonna do the more subtler. I kind of over time, I have gotten to be like more subtle of a person, but also when you're seeing this stuff on camera, it looks, you cannot see the details sometimes with the subtler things. So sometimes the bolder things looks just so much better on camera. So, but I like both. It's not like I don't like old olive. I was just trying to make kind of the same version of this card. So that was kind of my original idea, but then, you know, okay. So I'm just taking this and framing it up. The other thing I could have done is I could have cut a window into my card base, but if you do a window into your card base, then you need a bigger machine. So this works really well for a mini machine because you can create both the background and you can create the frame, and you can still get that effect, the illusion that this is sunken, right? Instead of matted. Like I could have done this. I could have done a smaller white frame as well. That could have been like a smaller layer. I could have cut an old olive piece, a big one, and stuck a white layer on top. That would have looked nice too. But in the original card, it looked like it was recessed. So that's why I have recessed this. And I think it looks nice. I think it's a nice little detail because this card is not very complex. I'm just going to add glue just around the edges. And then I am going to try and center this as much as possible and try and keep it straight. Let's see. This is always easier to do if you are kind of looking from up above. So I'm going to tilt this a little bit towards me. That's close enough, I think. Okay. It is stuck now. We have decided. Okay, so then this happy birthday, you know what? I don't know. It could go here like it did before, but this looks like a little extra white space down there. So I could stick this down here, which I think I'm going to do. Depending on where you place your flowers, you might decide to move your label up and down. And I think, you know, it works everywhere along here. You don't have to necessarily have it at my first level. So you can put it down below as well. Just whatever makes you happy, right? Like it works on both levels, right? We could even put it up top, but I kind of like this branch right here that's coming up like that. All right, so then the final thing we're going to do is we're going to use some of these antique pearls to decorate this with. Let's see if I can use my putty. Doesn't work always as well with the bigger pearls. All right, I'm gonna put one down here. Grab a smaller one, come on. And right there. And then, come on. Like, where are we gonna put this? Up here. Like that. And that's what we're going to do. They're very subtle. They show up a little bit more on the green paper, but it's meant to be subtle. One of the things that I love with pearls, and these ones have kind of, I don't know if you can see it very well. You can't. I'm just looking at my camera rather than in person. They do have that kind of opal look to them, like a very subtle opal. You can see the blue and the pink undertone when you twist them a little bit. So you know, it's very hard to see here, but they look very beige here. But when the recipient gets them, they do have a very nice like quality to them, I should say. So there we go. So I wonder, okay, for argument's sake, we could have put the yellow frame on the green. What do you think of that? Do the contrast? I don't know. I always have this tendency to want to make things like look as a set, like they were meant to belong. So that would be like an interesting contrast, right? To take that and use like do the yellow, right? That would add a little bit of oomph to that. So how would you do that if you you wanted to do that? You could like pry up the happy birthday with my little technique and put the little yellow frame on. I would then just glue the yellow frame right on top of the olive frame. I would do that, and it would add just a little bit more depth to the frame, like if you wanted to do that. I don't know. What do you think? So that is, oh, you like the yellow frame on the green card? Okay, let's do it, shall we? Shall we see if we can do this without ruining the card? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we need the spatula end here. I'm going to heat this up a little bit first. And then we're just going to gently, okay, it needs a little more. I did press this hard, so to get over the bump of the frame. So we're just going to do this. Come on. It's very stuck. Might be harder to do with the paper. Cardstock removal might be easier. But let's see. We'll do this, the paper end first. So silent, right? Okay. I've released that. So now let's go over to this side. Oh, I feel it moving. Stamp surgery. Well, this isn't stamp surgery. This is layer surgery. This is cosmetic surgery for cards, okay? So it's not necessary, but look how well that did, right? It's not necessary, but it might enhance your card. So you might do it anyway, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this up, because I'm just going to glue this frame right on top of the other one. I am not going to remove that green frame, because that would take a lot more work. That one. So now my little happy birthday is going to have to really go over a really big bump. But you know what? Maybe what we do then, I don't know how much, maybe we put a dimensional, mini dimensional on either side. Does it warrant that? We could see. We'll stick one on this side and this side. I think it's a little too high. I think I'm gonna remove the dimensionals, because I don't want it kind of sagging in the center. Okay. That idea I did not do. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're gonna put this back on. And we'll just put it back on kind of in the same spot. You know what I'm going to do? No, I can't do that. I was going to say I'm going to cut an extra label to put underneath, but that will be too hard because I shortened this label. So I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to just have it kind of go right over the frame. The other thing you could do theoretically with this label is like maybe just cut a little rectangular piece. Okay, I'm gonna do it. These are the things that go through my brain, and this is why I don't generally change things. Let me grab, just see if I have a piece of thicker. I think this is thicker white cardstock. So I think that's about 1/4 of an inch. So we're gonna go just under 1/4. How long are you? I have to be outside of the curved part. So let's make you about 2 inches long. 2 inches long. Let's see. Because originally I stamped this on regular basic white. So when you stamp something on basic white, it doesn't have like a lot of support. And if you wanted even more support, you could, you know, do another piece. Yeah, another piece. But this is, I just don't want it to sag, right? So that's better. And I think I'll put one right here. One more right here. Okay, that kind of works. And then one more. I just want to support this so it doesn't like sag in the center. So we'll just use these, because you know now I've built it up over 2 frames, and it would just be just a little bit too droopy if I did it over the bump. There we go. So you can see my little dimensionals, and it is straight. It's like when I turned it like that, it didn't quite look straight. I don't know why it looks not straight on camera. There we go. It is straight though in my purview, so I don't know if the camera angle is bending things, but there we go. There we go. We fixed my card. We gave it a cosmetic update and made it look even prettier. What do you guys think? I think that's kind of cool, and it just shows you that this little spatula just works really well with the heat tool to remove layers that maybe it looked good at the beginning, and then when you added it, it didn't look so good, or it was crooked. This will get sticky, so every once in a while I will clean it with like an adhesive remover and a paper towel. I'll just get the stickiness off so it's not as sticky as before. But there you go. 2 pretty little cards. And the sun has come out and it is now like right in my eyes. So now I'll be squinting. So thank you all for being here with me today. If you enjoyed my card and you enjoyed the tips that I shared today, maybe you'll want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, why not go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can get notifications when I go live. And give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and I would appreciate that so much because that helps me get seen by others and that supports my small little business, and I appreciate that. All right, thank you all for being here. Let's say hello to you that have joined me this morning. I have Marge here from Connecticut. Hello, Marge. Nancy is here. And don't forget about the free shipping on orders of $75 or more starting tomorrow. And you, whether you are a customer or a demonstrator, it's for all of us. So enjoy that. Good morning, Ellie. And good morning, Kristen and Mary. And let's see. Marge says it feels like a Monday to her too. You just can't get started. I don't know. I was sitting there this morning and I was just slowly going slow. And I was like, what is wrong with me this morning? And Mary says she has 54 degrees in Indiana. We woke up this morning. It was 10 degrees Celsius, which is around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was a nice walk this morning. It was, not hot, but it was nice, and all the spring flowers are starting to come out now. It's really pretty up here in New England's very nice. Deborah says it's 72 degrees in Virginia Beach. Well, that is really nice. That is like you don't need a jacket kind of weather. That's nice. Hello, Tanya from Kentucky. Hello, Kathy from Michigan. Hello, Karen from Oregon. And let's keep going. Hello, Connie from North Carolina. Hello, Marty. You're not too late. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Jen from Victoria, BC, Canada. And she said she started following me thanks to Barbara. Oh, Barbara lives close to me. Barbara Lash, that's really cool. Well, Jan, you are from my home province of British Columbia. I grew up in the Okanagan Valley, so and I have been to Victoria many times, and it's Vancouver Island's very near and dear to my heart. Very, very beautiful place to live too. And my husband was saying that last night that our yard is like, well, no, I can't compare it to the Butchert Gardens, but because it's like our own little piece of land. He was like, this is our own little Butchert Gardens, and not nearly as nice as Butchert Gardens, because Butchert Gardens is like an amazing garden, but it's just like our little piece of land, and we were just feeling really nostalgic. So yeah, Butchert Gardens. I love Victoria. Okay. I could go on about British Columbia, but I will not make you guys suffer through all of that remembrance. So I still have family in BC, so I will be going back at some point, but I have not been back for a year. Last April I was in BC, so Hello, Linda from Oregon. Hello, Lois from Omaha. Hello, oh, we've got more people from Oregon. Hello, Nola from Oregon as well. And she says, it's a beautiful sunny morning here. Lots of work to be done on the property. Well, I know what you feel like. My poor hydrangeas. I've got some panicle hydrangeas that have not been pruned in a while. They have a lot of as witnessed last year, there was a lot of dead wood within. It just didn't look great on the so last year I didn't have time to deal with them, and this year I am just very carefully looking at each branch very carefully. Do you have any buds on you yet? And making sure I'm not pruning away anything that could still create growth and flowers for this year. Okay, I'm totally digressing. Okay, Kristen says it must still feel like a Monday. I was thinking the solid blooms look like butterflies for a minute. Oh yeah, they kind of do. Butterflies fly different angles, and you can kind of see that. I can see that, Kristen. Okay, we've got color choices. Let's keep going past that. And since you guys like that yellow frame on the green card, we did that. I love that. And Kristen liked the heat tool and glue lifter in action. Heat the spatula. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I didn't see that. Nancy, next time I will try heating the spatula. That might work as well. Good thought. Our brains all work so differently, right? That's really neat. I could stamp another label and just layer on new on the old. Yes, but because I had to cut that label down short, it wasn't like a one-step process. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna layer it up with another piece of cardstock. Marty says that worked perfectly. Hello, Patience. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Diane. And she said she liked seeing the lifting the label. Yeah, both layouts are great. And this is the interesting thing. This came from a card. Do you remember our inspiration card at the beginning? Let me move my head. Okay, so that's the inspiration card. So it went from, so I'll move my card into place here. So this is what it would have looked like, maybe horizontal, but my label just didn't look great. So then I turned it to vertical, right? So the inspiration card, it had that recess layer a little bit. So you can still see how it kind of resembles the beginning of the card, but it's not exactly the same. So, just have fun with this. This is not Brenda tells you how to stamp a card exactly. This is not what this is about. This is about Brenda shares a card that you can use as inspiration and a jumping off point for your card. So I love it. It's a great challenge for everyone to give it a try. Diane says she loves my surgery. Now, remember, that was cosmetic surgery. When I cut my stamp apart, that is the real deal, the real surgery, right? Okay. Patient says, have a great sunny day. Thank you. Caroline says, Caroline, I keep saying Caroline instead of Caroline, loves them both. Lois says, what a cute set. Okay, Kristen said, so to confirm, if I were to place a $100 order starting tomorrow, I could get free shipping and 2 of your April hosts gifts. Yes, that is absolutely correct. $100. So going forward, I'm not sure how I'm going to have to word this, but once you have Stampin' Rewards, if your rewards reduce the amount, it has to be $100 before if you add $50 of your rewards on there, it's like whatever the amount merchandise is minus the rewards. So, but yeah, you probably right now you don't have any rewards since this is a new program. So yes, $100 order will get you 2 of my paper pack ribbon combo thingamajiggies plus free shipping. So yes, very good deal. Take advantage of it. Hello, Tina from Florida. And hello, Fair Blue. I guess you'll have to watch the replay like you said. Hello, Valerie. And she says, love all you do. Thank you. Well, thank you. That's so sweet of you. Patience said she takes the sticky off by heating it as well. Ah, interesting. All right. Well, thank you. And Patience, you're going to have to message me and tell me what you mean by taking the adhesive off by heating it. Oh, you take the sticky off the end of the spatula by heating this as well? I don't know. Maybe you'll afterwards you'll tell me exactly what you mean by that, because I'm not sure. Sometimes, when we put short little snippets on there, we can't fully explain our brain thought, and the other person can't fully get inside your brain and understand it. So, but anyway, I wish you all a great week. I will be here on Friday morning with a 3D, hopefully a 3D project for you. It might be a fancy fold, but I will be doing something fun on Friday. So I hope to see some of you then. And in the meantime, have a great week and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.